What up, though? I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG and Facebook. And this is a new episode of Dear Black Gay Men Live. This is our short, bullshit-free step out of our comfort zone to talk all the important things in black gay culture. The comments were going up for this episode. People said, I've got to see this one, or this about to be crazy. I don't know why y'all think that I'm just going to be on here acting a fool. It's either that or I be acting a fool all the time, and it's just become normal to me. Either way, this episode is one that made me and everybody here at Dear Black Gay Men that we have been excited about for weeks now. I met my guest while I was out a couple weeks ago. I was doing some bald-headed hoe shit, and he was way more dignified. And since then, he's opened our eyes to a whole bunch of political shit that we had no idea about. It's an unexpected conversation that we are calling Gay and Republican Explained. Now, let's get into the episode. Even though my guest today voted for Obama in 2008, he was down as a member of the Republican Party through 2012, now reformed. He identifies as a moderate Democrat. He's here to talk us through the ups and downs of the other side. Please welcome Dean Snell to the show. Dean, how are you?
Hey, how are you? How's everything going?
Unbelievably. So at the top of the show, I always do go through the DMs and I run some questions by you. Are you ready for that?
I'm ready.
So the first one is always, what have you had it with in black gay culture?
Ooh, I have had it with the FEMME versus MASC thing. I need y'all to realize that we are all gay black men or all gay men, and everybody will see us as flaming homosexuals, whether you like to play ball or whether you like to vogue out. They all think you like this, okay? So I'm gonna need y'all to come together.
What do people think you are?
Well, according to the people in the I guess the comments from the post on Instagram, they thought I was MASC, and I'm like, I ain't MASC, man. I'm just an average guy. I like sports. I like politics. But I'm an average guy.
But you do realize all of that is very masculine, sports and politics.
I mean, I still have my gay things that I like to do, behind closed
we
doors.
know.
But in the world, I guess you could say I know how to tread the line. But I have plenty of them friends. Them are some of my favorite friends because they take me out my element. But they love watching me go to the club because they're like, famous. He famous. I'm like, these people probably only like me because of my little body. That's about it. My little body.
I mean, now the body do be bodying. Let's be clear about that. The body be bodying. Can we just talk about it for a moment?
Sure.
So for everybody, I met Dean at we won't say where I met him, but we were out. I was doing the bald-headed hoe shit. And I am so intrigued that you are like, you're stacked, bro. Brick house. That's what comes to mind. Brick house.
Appreciate it. I work out at 5:30 in the morning every day, Monday through Friday.
You better than me. I do. I mean, people say I'm built like a brick house, but you built like a real brick house. Like your brick house got wings and shit.
I got you.
So for clarity, just so everybody knows, Dean is doing double time because he has many things going on and he's here at the show. So I appreciate you multitasking. If he got to get up, that's why. We ain't gonna hate on you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now I will say what I've had it with. Have you ever gotten like a message on an app and they don't have no picture and they trying to hold a whole conversation?
We ain't holding no conversation. You got 3 messages and I'm gonna block you because if you can see me, I can see you. Listen, if you that in the closet, then you don't need to be on this app, Sue Ellen.
That's if you that in the closet, you for damn sure don't need to be in my inbox. Gay as I am, I'm gay as Christmas.
Well, you don't need to be in my inbox because I like to be out in public.
I don't like to be outside.
Yeah, I like to be outside with the person I'm talking to. We ain't hiding me. We ain't doing that.
I mean,
I ain't get hit in high school. I ain't get hit in college, and I damn sure ain't getting hit as an adult.
So how did somebody shoot they shot at you then?
just be confident. If I don't like you, I'm gonna let you know. I'm not one of those people that play around with people's emotions. I'm straight to the point. I tell people all the time I kind of like people that's built like linebackers and running backs.
Like 5'10", 220. Is that a linebacker, running
5'10",
back?
220, 5'10", 220, 6 feet, 6'2". I like
maybe
it.
Maybe a redhead that wears glasses. I mean, I'm just asking the questions that the people want to know.
The people want to know. I got you. I know when I see it.
Just maybe a redhead that lives in Decatur where it's greater. Again, the inquiring minds want to know, not me. I'm just the messenger.
Just the messenger. I'm one of those people. I know when I see it. I tell people I'm not even really. I tell people I love nice bodies, but I'm an intellectual. So you get the body could be nice, but if I see that you kind of brain dead, that ain't gonna last more than 5 days. My friends tell me I gotta stop it. I break too many hearts sometimes. But that's why I like intelligence. Just because I don't ghost people, but I be like, this ain't gonna work out. And it's just that. It's just ain't gonna work out.
Okay.
I crave intelligence. I like a nice body, don't get me wrong, but I crave intelligence. Gotta be intelligent.
Okay, like, are you the type, like, is Pillow Talk like a CNN commentary? Is that what you want?
Just anything, like anything. We can talk about the gym, we can talk about football, we can talk about politics, we can talk about what's going on in the world, all that. And I like to eat too. I like food. So that's why I don't do little skinnies. I'm nothing wrong with skinny people, but I like to eat. Like I want to go out to eat. I don't need you watching your figure. None of that.
Question in the chat in the comments says, "What signals intelligence for you?"
What signals intelligence for me? I pretty much just said it. I probably only met it like 2 or 3 times, but I like a person that can teach me something. That can teach me something. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I like to be taught sometimes because I feel like I'm always teaching people, or just people that can feed me. Feed me information. I dated somebody that was in law, and I wanted to be I was into law myself, so it was just interesting to hear them talk about stuff that I didn't know about. I love that.
Do you consider yourself teachable?
Hell yeah, absolutely. Everything I learned is because I've learned it from someone else.
Okay, I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dean is here because we want to have a conversation about politics. Right. The title of this show is Gay and Republican, but we're gonna give some clarity to that. But I do know that you spent some time as a political activist, a political strategist. Yes, Aaron, play my video. When's the last time you had this moment happen? Play it again.
It's handled.
How many "it's handled" moments have you had in recent history?
One, my friend, I won't say his name, but he's a Black Republican. He was running for Congress, and he was supposed to win. They had him down to win, but basically they tried to take him off the ballot, and we had to find a law that said he could be where he needed to be. Basically, he was one of those people that his address was here. And they tried to say that his address wasn't there. So we had to go through this whole court case and all this stuff. But basically, he got on the ballot. He didn't win, but that was one of the things that really turned me off about the Republican Party and politics. Because I'm like, the people don't like the person that you guys are putting up, but you guys are smearing someone who could possibly do great things for your party, who is a minority and who is young. Because if I remember, me and my buddy are like 2 years apart. He's like a little older than me. But we got a handle. He stayed on the ballot. He didn't win, but that was like our moment to transition from the party to become independents.
Like, is that a thing? Like, do you think that the constituents are turned off by a Black Republican?
We're in a Republican district. It wasn't that it was because the smearing that they did at the time he was getting a divorce. So they pulled up all of that stuff and like threw it out there. So it was just like it was so much stuff that was going on that people was just like, I don't think I want to back this person right now because he seems a little unstable. But
it seems like being a black Republican is two uphill battles, because in my head, as someone who is not Republican, black Republican means you're not black enough for the black people, because they assume that Republican means you about the machine. Correct. And then black Republican means you're not Republican enough for the white people because you black.
Right. And I used to hate the term.
Isn't it just...
Yeah, I used to hate the term, oh, you're a black Republican. It's just like I tell my friend, I kind of hate labels. Like I had a Masonic brother that used to be like, oh, yeah, this is my gay Masonic brother. I was like, I don't call you my straight Masonic brother. So call me, I'm just your brother. You know, you ain't gotta put nothing in front of it. We brothers. That's all it is. Because I feel like sometimes when we do that, we kind of diminish a person. Like, you know, my identity is my identity, but everybody don't need to know what I do behind closed doors. I may just be coming out just to come, hang out with y'all. I don't need people to be like, oh, okay. Because I snap. I'm one of the people that I snap quick. I'd be like, let's not get it twisted. I slap.
Okay. That kind of snap. Okay, I get it. Let's move on. Aaron, let's go to break a little early. Okay. When we come back, we're going to be picking Dean's brain about why he joined the party of oppression. That's what they say in the script all those years ago, and what we can learn about their strategy. This is Gay and Republican Explained. We'll be right back.
Get in the conversation.
This comment says, I did a good job. It's time for a congratulatory ejaculation session.
Chat live on the show and get exclusive content.
The bottoms are going to eat me up for this in the chat.
Join the Dear Black Gay Men Insiders group on Facebook.
If you like talking about shit that's a little petty, a little sexy,
and gay as hell,
then get your good things ready. Dear Black Gay Men Live is coming to Washington, D.C. September 8th. We're bringing your favorite podcast. We're bringing all the vibes. We've got the wine flowing, and all you got to do is bring your ass. It's September 8th in Washington, D.C. Register now at dearblackgaymen.com/events/DC. The link is in the description. Now, let's get back into the show. Every time I do that, every time I watch that, I realize that I'm sitting in the same seat in the same place. So it feels like we're just cutting between two versions of me. But you did hear that right. Dear Black Gay Men Live is coming to Washington, D.C. Tickets are going a lot faster than we expected, but there are still a few spots left. Visit dearblackgaymen.com/events/DC to reserve your ticket. The link is in the description. Now, let's actually get back into the show. Dean.
Yellow. What's going on?
So, I'm going to tell you how dope we're about to start talking about actual politics. I'm going to tell you how dope the production team is here at Dear Black Gay Men. So, anytime that we get a little too filibustery, I got a sound to play.
Claiming my time.
You hear it?
I'll catch you.
So, anytime we go off the deep end, I'm going to play my little button.
Okay, I got you.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay, so before the break, we chatted with Dean about his what grinds his gears in gay culture, and it's handled moment. Now we're going to get more insight into his time as in the Republican Party, but of course, it's got to be a little petty. So this is how we understand Republican politics. Before the show starts, before every show, we have so many conversations with the guests, so we understand what's going on, and this is what we process it as. Go with me here, Dean. Have you heard about Keke Palmer and her baby daddy?
Yes, I have.
With the dress?
Yeah.
And how she out here with the dress, right?
I like the dress.
And baby daddy pitching a fit because his baby mom is out here with her ass out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what we believe. We believe that baby daddy is black people. They focused on the wrong thing. She over here living her best life, and he over there pitching a fit about something that is totally not germane to the task at hand, raising this kid, right? And Keke Palmer, Republican Party, she is not a Republican, but she is represents the Republican Party, and this what she do. Play the video, Aaron. So instead of reacting to the issues, this is what Keke Palmer do. Not only does she go and take that dress, she kicked that baby daddy to the curb, she ends up in a video with Usher because all this other shit. Baby daddy over here distracted by the moving target, and Republican Party is over here making major moves. Dean,
it happens every time. It happens every time.
Wrong?
It happens every time. I told people that, especially with the 2016 election, while we were sitting here worried about Hillary Clinton's emails and all this other stuff, the Republican Party was making sure that they put somebody in place in 20. That's why they fought like hell to put somebody in place in 2016. Really, many of us thought George Bush would be the last Republican president, because we saw that the country was moving in a direction where minorities were becoming very active after President Obama. The problem is that, like, many Democrats, guys, are divided. You are too divided. You divided and distracted by everything else, but your ultimate goal. If you want to fight for 15, you want to fight for healthcare for all, y'all gotta stick to the script and keep going. Because you see the Republicans did that when they got Donald Trump in. Donald Trump stuck to the script. Whatever they gave him, he got them what they asked for, what the big wigs wanted, not what the little people wanted, because the little people was worried about a fence and immigration. They ain't get none of that. But the big wigs got what? They got abortion rights ended. They got control of the Supreme Court because they already knew, Ginsburg was old as dust. God rest her soul. But they knew she
held on long as she could. Now,
listen,
RBG held on as long as she could.
Yeah, and Mitch McConnell, you saw what Mitch McConnell did. Mitch McConnell was he played his part. He played his part. He used his power. He used the power that he had to hold off on that other nominee, other judicial nominee. So again, just like you said, like we always Keke Palmer, and you see it all the time. Every week is something new. Every week we fussing or we laughing or we distracted by something. And if you realize, or you go look at Congress and look at what they passing, it goes right under the radar because we so distracted we're looking at we're like deer in headlights, like. And
so what? So plug right here. So what if there was one thing that you could mention that we need to be focused on? What is it? Because the one thing that is very clear to me is that the Republican Party has been focused on, 2 or 3 very clear goals. Second Amendment, making sure black people don't get back in the White House. They have some very clear goals and objectives.
Their clear goals and objectives is deeper than that. That's what they put on the surface. That's for their base to see. Because to the base, that's what speaks to the base. Abortion rights, because most of their base are what? Christian, evangelicals. They speak to that, and they speak to what we like to call, we used to call this in history. I can't even think of the name right now, but there's always a boogeyman. So the boogeyman, remember at one point, the boogeyman it's always a group of people that's holding down white people. That's what they focus on. Those are the 2 issues they focus on for their base. We're going to lose America to the immigrants and to the minorities. So we got to fight back. We got to put ourselves in office before it's too late. And then they speak to those evangelicals through Christian rights, so LGBTQ community, minorities, and a few other things. Those are the issues that they speak to. And a lot of the times they get those things passed in state houses. A big issue, I guess you could say, a big issue that I'm having.
Who is the boogeyman? Who should our boogeyman be?
So right now the boogeyman is going to be LGBTQ, the LGBTQ community. If you realize they've amped up on that issue of the LGBTQ community and books,
Right.
LGBTQ books. So right now for this cycle, it's the LGBTQ community. Remember last cycle it was who? The immigrants. And the cycle before that, it was who? The Muslims, the immigrants. And they're also the boogeyman is also going to be the liberal Democrats trying to take your guns.
Okay, but then the flip side of that is if I turn it and focus on our progress as not Republicans, is the downfall of our success the fact that we don't have a boogeyman, that the Democratic Party or liberals are for everybody?
That's the biggest issue. The Democratic Party is a big tent party. So you're trying to appease everybody, and you don't want to say anything about this group because you might lose that group. You don't want to say anything about this group because you might lose that group. What Democrats have to focus on is they have to push and focus on us moving together, the country moving together in progress. They have to start focusing on millennials and the issues that's really, really like hurting millennials and getting millennials out to vote. Because right now, millennials don't vote. Gen Z doesn't vote enough. Well, I ain't gonna say we don't vote, but we don't vote enough as a people. So, as a generation, the moment we start talking to those issues like housing, cost of living, equal pay, you'll see when they were talking about the fight for 15. This is my biggest issue with Democrats. They scrapped the whole fight for 15 thing and just went about their day. I was like, if you can't get 15, go for 12, go for 13.
But here's the issue that I have, not the issue, but I think the issue that besets us is like the Republican Party ain't got no problem pointing the finger at somebody. Like the boogeyman exists because they don't mind demonizing a group of people,
but they can
so that they can fire up their base
because they have the majority of the country. See, white people still encompass a huge majority of the country. So as long as they're saying, these people are going to come here and, I tell people, look at the 1800s when black people were free, even though back then it was kind of flipped. It was the Democrats and the Democrats were saying it. The parties flipped. It's the same attitudes. It's the same playbook because what the Democrats ran on was white supremacy. So the Republicans, when they switch, it's still a white supremacist playbook. When black people were free, the way that they got back in power, because those first 10 to 15 years of black people being free, blacks and poor white people really fought together to get people in office. What happened was you had Democrats at that time who would now be Republicans or white supremacists. I'll just say white supremacists. They put this playbook out there, and the playbook was basically, these black people are taking your jobs. They're taking, because remember, African Americans were skilled workers. We were the people that were building the homes. We were the people that were doing the crops. Most of America's wealth comes off the backs of free African labor. So when those African Americans were free, guess what happened? They started using their labor to build their own communities and to create wealth for themselves. And they were taking jobs from the white people. So you had the Republican
Party. And that became the boogeyman.
Yeah, that became the boogeyman. That was the first boogeyman after emancipation. Not saying that we weren't always the boogeyman, but free black people is the reason why you're held down, why you can't get a job, that's why it was so many black burnings of so many black progressive towns, because white people or white supremacists were highly upset. Highly upset that you have these Negroes that have all this great, nice stuff, and then we're sitting here, struggling. But that's because they took this.
They still are. Yeah. They still upset. People fly over country. Then I was about to say, those white people is still upset that they think that black people are doing great things in the big city when really we are broke.
But I tell people all the time, because I used to drive through rural Texas. I've lived amongst. I've drove through those places, and I always tell people, I'm like, you guys are voting Republican every election, and you live like trash. Like, I'm like, you need to be thanking Joe Biden right now for even putting infrastructure, because the infrastructure bill that they just signed is helping cities, but it's to help lay out more stuff for the rural area. If you go to some of these rural areas, you would think that those people were still living in the 1920s. It is.
Now, horrible. I will say this, Dean. you said infrastructure bill. I was about to pull out my button, but we can keep going here. Let's go.
Oh, we stop. We just we good. I was gonna stop there. I was gonna stop there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get ready for another break. When we come back, Aaron, you ready? When we come back, we're going to be taking a deeper look into how Republican strategies are fucking up our daily lives and what we can do about it. This is Gay and Republican Explained. We will be right back.
What up, though? The conversations stay lit on Dear Black Gay Men podcast. Hookup, entanglement, situation, relationship, everything from dushing to dating.
A top verb, but I am not a top noun.
I am a guru at first dates.
It's new every Wednesday. Subscribe now.
Welcome back to Dear Black Gay Men Live. So I will tell you, every chance I get to sit in this chair, I'll try to say thank you, because I didn't know that this show would grow the way it is, that I'd be able to talk about the things that I'm talking about, especially this conversation with Dean. We're excited to show you some ways that you can support what we do. The easiest way to support Dear Black Gay Men is to subscribe on YouTube and turn on the notifications so you never miss a post or a live show. If you really love us, you can send a thanks of any monetary value. Your support allows us to keep this kind of content coming every week. On YouTube, under this live or any of our content, you can click Send Thanks and select a monetary value and click Buy and Send. Your one-time gift goes straight to the channel, and it helps us keep these conversations happening every single week. And you can join our Patreon. The link is in the description. As a monthly subscriber, you can join the after party and get exclusive content, early access to merch and events, and so much more. I want to thank our newest patrons for joining us. It's a very exciting time here at Dear Black Gay Men, and y'all know that we're going to DC. So if you want to get on board with our DC show, you can become a patron down below. Now, let's get back into the show. Dean.
Hello. What's going on?
Dean.
I'm here.
Okay. So, get this. Mm-hmm. I really do want to ask a more pointed question about your experience as someone who was a part of the Republican Party. Like, inside the party, did people embrace you?
Yeah, originally, absolutely. I was embraced really early on, especially in Florida. And this is before pre-crazy people in Florida. Well, Florida always had crazy people, but this was pre the governor we have now. One of the first guys that contacted me was a young Republican guy. He was just finishing college, and we talked, and he got me really involved in the party. Even when I moved to Texas and I became really, really active on the state level, like I told you, I worked for Governor Hot. I worked for.
Remember, we're live.
I worked for Governor Hot Wheels.
For clarity, everybody. So he said Governor Hot Wheels is Greg Abbott because he is in a wheelchair, but he is dumb as hell. So
yeah,
okay,
he's not the greatest person. But even when I first moved there, I was really, really welcomed by people. I kind of moved through the ranks really, really quickly, just because I had things to say and I had things that I wanted to accomplish. My whole thing was coming into the party was we have everybody on the Democrat side. They know what our issues are, but they don't really push what they need to push. So I'm like, well, maybe if I get on this side or I stay on this side and I push those same issues, like I was big on just making sure that Black people had a quality education. And many of the Black guys that was in the party with me, and Black women were the same way. We just wanted our community to be better. We wanted to stop all of the crime that was going on in our communities. Because everybody's like, well, it happens in white communities. I'm like, I don't give two cents about no white community. I'm focused on my community and why we need to fix stuff in our community.
Okay.
But over
Hold on,
time,
right there.
okay.
Right there, real quick, because I'm glad you just said that. Perfect segue. Aaron, I hope you're ready for this. So, just a little backstory before he plays this clip. Recently, Vision Cathedral of Atlanta was picketed during one of their Sunday services. The Bishop O.C. Allen was talking about the protesters, and it was very interesting that the person they had on the mic was a black man, but everybody holding the signs around him, gassing him up, was a white man. Play my video, Aaron. From the pulpit, O.C. Allen, this is him speaking, but he said, let me tell you how sadistic white Jesus is. White Jesus will have a Negro on the mic surrounded by a bunch of white people egging him on. There's always a field Negro that will take the money and do the deed. Now, I'm not going to say that I don't want to be as bombastic as what he's saying, but it feels like there's a lot of black people as Republicans that are on the mic with white people around them egging them on, like the Tim Scotts, like the Candace Owens, like the like Herschel fucking Walker.
Yeah, and
why is it the Republican Party finds those particular people to push to the forefront?
Because they can do their dirty work for them. It's easy for them to say it, and if they get pushback from the community, you can't call them racist because they're black. You know, it's just like when they were pushing about illegal immigration. They were using and they were putting to the forefront Hispanics who were legal immigrants or whose family came here legally. Okay, so they're always going to put somebody to the forefront that they want to talk on that issue because, you know, it's like we have a person here that's saying the same thing we're saying. They even see the problem. They see the problem, but you can't, you know, there's always going to be, because even in the Democrat community, it's the same thing. I mean, in the Democratic Party, it's the same thing. When they want to fuss about certain issues, who do they put to the forefront? A person that is within that minority group or within that group. It's the same thing.
But why they gotta be dumb as hell? You can't tell me Herschel Walker is a good candidate on it.
Herschel Walker, I don't know what the heck. I guess they thought Georgians were dumb. That was the thing. Okay, because I guess they thought Georgians were dumb. They saw a black man who played running back for University of Georgia. He was on the team. He was the biggest face for the University of Georgia, winning that championship in I guess it was the 80s. So it's like you're going to get the Republican parties to vote for you. Why not? And you're going to get black people because you know, it ain't just the Republicans. We got some black folk that ain't too smart either, that they'll go over and vote for a person just because he black and just because what he did outside of politics. Oh, they put Herschel Walker up on the thing. I might have to go vote for him. And I'm looking at them like, but what has he done locally? Like, what has he done for the community?
What has he done? Period.
Correct. Like, outside of him winning a national championship for UGA, what else has he done? I don't even know how he got on the ballot.
I think the issue that I take with that is, like, even the smart black people, like Candace Owens is very intelligent. She just is so misguided.
So she's not misguided.
I don't know Tim Scott well enough to make an opinion.
She's not misguided at all. She's doing what she was supposed to do. She wanted to make money. I tell people all the time, I never heard of Candace Owens in the grapevine of black republicanism at all in 2018, 2017, 2016. She came out of nowhere, just as many of these other black people came. They saw a way to make money, and they took it and ran with it. Black Republicans make money off of saying the wildest, craziest stuff about the black community. And every time we like something that they say, or we go on Twitter and we share it with somebody and have our little comment, we're feeding their pockets because they know they use them as a pawn to, just like we was talking about distraction, they use them as a pawn to distract us. Because while we over here fussing about what Candace Owens just said about slavery or Kanye West, they over here now, they putting stuff in place. I think it's an old parable. You know, you throw a little meat over there. Well, what is it? I forgot the little parable, but basically they throw something over here. You so distracted over here while I'm pulling in everything else. I'm pulling in everything
While
else.
I'm stealing the rug from under your feet
Correct.
over
And
there.
that's what they're going to do.
There's an African version of that
yeah,
parable, but
they're going to do it
I
in
can't
2020.
translate it off the top of my head.
They're going to do it in 2024 if we allow them to. If we're so distracted by everything else, they're going to do it again. Because right now their base is solidified. But the thing that they're going to try to do is going to try to divide the Democratic base. They're going to divide the Democratic base on ageism. Oh, you know, Joe Biden's too old. They're going to divide us on issues of social issues. They're going to divide us on so many things. It's going to make people either stay home, not vote, or vote third party, or vote Republican because they feel like it's going to be 2016 all over again. I guess you could say.
Well, I would say let's hope not, but we need more than hope right now. But we about to wrap up because we got to go to the after show. But what if there was one closing remark you could have to unifying Black people? Because that's really what we're talking about. What is the top of consciousness or one message that you could send to the Black voters as we start toward 2024?
My message to Black voters is to be about Black issues, is to be about the community, whether the person is gay, straight, trans, poor, rich, in the middle. We as a community, when the country catches a cold, we catch the flu. We don't have the luxury, not with what they're doing right now. We don't have the luxury as a community to be divided. We don't have the luxury of a community to be divided based off of where somebody comes from, because we see that division all the time. We have to come together and we have to kind of fight how we fought in the 50s and 60s as if we are in the 50s and 60s. Because if we don't, we're going to see ourselves right back where our grandparents were. And I think the problem is a lot of people of Generation X, Generation Z, and the millennials did not get to experience what our grandfathers and our grandparents and our great-grandparents experienced. So we take everything so light. And one thing about politics encompasses your whole world. Even the stuff that you think it doesn't encompass, it encompasses. And if you allow these Republicans to take the House and to take the presidency again, we may not ever see a Democrat in office for another 100 years, because they're going to do everything in their power to keep that power. We are dealing with totalitarianism or something similar to it. So as a community, we got to let go of the man versus woman thing and the masculine women and women need to know their place. No, everybody needs to be holding hands.
Or who controls ovulation.
Who controls the ovulation, right? Because right now, I think we talked about it before on the pre-show, but Black women are the biggest contributors of deaths during childbirth, and they got rid of abortion. And a lot of and right now they got rid of abortion, and they have their stipulations because they know they can't do too much in certain places. But it's only a matter of time before they really, really, really just get rid of abortion altogether. Because who's going to hurt in the end? Black women. Because Black women are the people that die in the hospital at a higher rate than white women. Because a lot of times we don't have the proper prenatal care. Okay, Republicans are they're not pro-life like they say. They just won't, they're not pro-life at all, because they don't, once the baby is born, even if that mother dies, they're not given any incentives to make sure that kid goes and does what he needs to do to live a proper life. So we have to really think about stuff like that, even with our LGBTQ community. Like, you want to stamp on LGBTQ rights, but think about what happened in the 40s in Germany. They went after the smaller groups, and then in the end, what did they do? They went after the big group. So they go after our Black LGBTQ people, even though y'all don't think that we're Black, or y'all don't think that they're Black, they're still Black. And the moment that they get tired of them and get rid of them, or they take all of their rights, they're coming for your rights. It's that simple. And if you don't see it, I feel bad for you as a person. Like, we have to kind of unify. We have to get all of our community to the party or to the table and move forward.
I think that's a perfect place to take our last break. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, Dean. We'll be back.
No problem.
Hit the notification bell because we're going live.
Like that's the least of my worries. The size.
Oh, I think relationships are becoming more complex.
Tuesday and Thursday every week.
Welcome to Dear Black Gay Men Live
at 9 p.m. Eastern.
I want to thank Dean for joining me. The conversation continues on Patreon. For a deeper dive with juicier questions, visit patreon.com/Dear Black Gay Men to become a member and join the after party. The funny thing about hosting Dear Black Gay Men is that on one hand, I want us to read a book and be informed. But on the other hand, if everybody did, I probably wouldn't have as big an audience. So we try to situate Dear Black Gay Men right in the middle to where we can be informative and entertaining, hopefully so we can see how dope it is to be Black gay men who love Black gay men. Men from every expression and mannerism, men from every position and level of dominance or submission, and men from every political ideology. Regardless of what you think about Dean or his past political affiliations, Republicans do what Republicans do. It's about time that we have someone that we know and we respect that can give us the inside tea. Normally, right here, I'd say something to deter people from trying to try our guests. But Dean is built like a Mack truck. So, Dear Black Gay Men, if you're going to step to Dean, good luck. That was our show. I am Jay the Gentleman. That's at JAI the Gentleman on IG. If this episode made you feel a little more dope, be sure to subscribe on YouTube, like the video, and share it with someone who needs a dopeness reminder. Dear Black Gay Men Podcast is new every Wednesday. You can stream it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And Dear Black Gay Men Live is new on YouTube every Thursday. So follow at Dear Black Gay Men on social so you never miss a thing. I am Jay the Gentleman. I will see you in Washington, D.C. on September 8th, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.